think I had about... hindsight says I had 2 good runs in me and I threw one of them, and I misplayed the end of one of them. No. I didn't play the optimal line. Yeah, I failed to find the optimal line. And then I can't even remember what happened in the silent one. Somewhere in Act 2. And then it's gone downhill very rapidly from there. It was good, Balthmos. I liked it. I liked it a lot. So I think we're at the point where it doesn't really matter what I do, which is nice because I can do whatever I want and the outcome's not going to change. Yeah, Plasma doesn't seem to get picked all that often. Dark gets picked occasionally though. Usually as a doom and gloom, not as a straight darkness. Synergies is definitely a good way of talking about it because you can get synergies in the game, and games that have archetypes also have synergies, whereas Slay the Spire just has synergies. But there's a lot more ways to interact with synergies with relics, as well as cards, plus your offensive cards with your defensive cards. You take a dagger through and be not happy. Yeah, so an archetype in the games that are usually PvP based encompass both the offense and defense because they're constructed decks, so they've been tuned to serve a purpose, and there might be some very small variations, but the game plan of the deck is the same based on the matchup. And then when you have that archetype, you have X archetype, and it might have, like I said, I might have X archetype deck and you might have it as well, but I might have chosen to put these 2 cards in instead of these 2, and you might have taken one of the ones I've picked, and very slight subtle differences. Whereas when people say, oh, is this a Shiv deck or a poison deck? Well, that might be how you deal some damage, but by saying a poison deck, how do we not take damage? I don't know, you didn't tell me. So we don't define a poison archetype. That's just how we deal damage. Whereas we might be using a couple of after images and some low cost defensive cards to to mitigate damage, or we might be planning on nightmaring a pyramid, nightmaring a footwork, or even apparitions. So that has nothing to do with poison, though, right? What I do find interesting, though, is most people when they do talk about archetypes, they do focus on offense. And don't. It's very rare you, well, except for a barricade. People are like, oh, it's a barricade archetype. It's like, well, that's now a defensive play, but how are you dealing damage? I'm using a potion right now. Sick, no. The thing is, though, because of the... It's still very narrow-minded. Because there's lots of little packages that can go together. You thought archetype was just a number of, in this case, all the synergies that... No. Because you can have a bunch of little synergies that work together that work independently of each other. So in the case of, like, Frost Orbs and a Blizzard, the reason why that works well as a bunch of packages is it does defense and offense do the same thing. Like generating the Frost Orbs in that case is defensive and offensive. So you get the sort of both sides of that happening. Yeah, but saying it's like that's the problem when you go, oh, it's a Frost Orb Claw deck. Okay, well, instead of being a Frost Orb Claw deck, just say, oh, it was, you know, I suppose you could call it, you could say Frost and Claw with the main parts. That's probably the best way of looking at it, but you'll find some decks that you don't really define because they didn't, like, Frost Orb Claw is really close to being able to say that's how that worked, because like the Claw deck we had the other night, that's all it was just cool headeds, a Glacier, and some claws, right? There really wasn't much else to it. Some relics and a couple other little piece cards. But a lot of the other decks that you see win can't be so simply defined. Corruption Dead Branch, you know, that's... Yeah, that's one that'll do it for you. So there are some that can kind of be defined based on those, but then a lot of other decks are just combinations of strong cards and relics. Well, yesterday, the Silent Run. Well, you definitely couldn't call it a poison deck. There was no poison. I didn't have any Wraith forms. I didn't have any apparitions. I didn't have footwork. And as much as we would love to call it a Shiv deck, because, yay, we beat the heart with the Shiv deck, I didn't really have that many Shivs. I had a couple Blade Dancers, so that was cool. That was fun. But, you know, it's not like I didn't have infinite blades and didn't have Cloak of Daggers. Oh, double deadly poison, turn 1 against Gremlin Knob. Feels good. I think we Nightmare here. The other one is like poison kind of works as a way of describing offense because it's still very general. You're not there's a lot of ways to scale poison, whether it be noxious fumes or deadly poisons. Catalysts are usually a good accelerant there. In a strength scaling deck, it's either a limit break or a demon form. Spot weaknesses, inflames, there's a bunch of other small synergies that'll get you some strength. So that's very general. To say a strength deck, you know, very vague. So it's not really I mean, it's just a synergy, yeah, kind of. No, yeah, and I think that's probably, whether it be an English as a second language or unfamiliarity with other card games and where Archetype was coming from, or maybe a bit of both. There's obviously a bit of a misunderstanding, and I wouldn't be surprised if other people very similar. They get Archetype got thrown around from as soon as day one. Slay the Spire was in early access, and Archetype was getting thrown around straight away. What archetypes win? How do you do archetypes? Archetypes. And a lot of decent game players were then saying, "Oh, we need to do this type of archetype to do this." And it's like, no, it's painstakingly wrong and misleading for people. Not only in the understanding of the game, but you don't get to pre-construct your deck. You don't get to sit there and, you know, finely tune it over and over again. Like it's a roguelite. It's a wannabe roguelite. So you're playing the journey every single time and trying to work out how you can, you know, get from A to B. Leg sweep on sale? Yeah. Another leg sweep? Probably not. I've got a courier. The courier though is nice. The second leg sweep's nice though, right? Oh, okay, apparently you can't skip a node. Rule of thumb? Not too sure about that either. Poison or full block? I think I'm going to take the 4 here, and getting the poison down is too strong. Yeah, so an archetype has archetype itself has very little to do with synergies. In terms of meaning. I think weak is important. Well, if that's the case, then I'd say there's a silent archetype, a defect archetype, and an ironclad archetype. That's probably the safest way if you're gonna look at it. Unless you get a prismatic shard, and then you just have like a Spire Slayer archetype, which is sort of like the, you know, encompasses the other 3 as well if you really wanted to. So on, I'm just trying to think, like, I have very little magic background, like so little, it's like I can't even comment, so I can't, someone else might be able to, but I wouldn't be able to understand what they were saying. I can only think of Hearthstone. But a lot of the decks, they had some things that would kind of synergize, but those might be little niche combos. And occasionally you would have multiple cards that could do one part of the combo, and that gives you a little bit of synergy there. But not the same way here, the way like some of the decks kind of did, where like some of the mage decks or the caster decks where casting spells would then do something else for a different card later. Or, you know, the druids and hunters could have some sort of beast synergies that would, you know, certain things would affect all the beast cards. But that wouldn't make it a beast archetype. They would have the archetype comes from very specific. You can look up at like any of the Hearthstone sites to find deck types, and that'll you know give you a much broader understanding of the archetypes. And you look at the cards, you're like, well, they don't really synergize. Like they don't have synergies the way we look at synergies in this game, but they work together as a group. Yeah, and the thing with games like that, like when you have combo decks or mid-range or bursty decks or aggressive like aggro decks or hyper aggressive decks or stall decks, depending on the game, you can have different types of what was the mill decks in Hearthstone, right? If you were talking to someone else that plays that game and you were talking about a mill deck, they would understand exactly what that meant, because that is the plan of what the deck's going to do. It's going to mill your cards and deck you, right? Or if it's a stall deck, they're just going to play the very long game, and you're going to run out of cards. They're not going to mill you, but the same thing's going to happen. You're going to get decked because they've got big, beefy value cards, and the play is just to stall and stall and stall. You know, I don't know if Frost Mages still exist in Hearthstone, but that was like an archetype that evolved around just not being able to kill them because you get them low, and varying spells and abilities just prevent them from dying. And then eventually they shoot. That was kind of a combo deck. Combination. Well, it was a bit of a combo and a stall. So they had, and all those decks, except for the hyper aggressive decks, which generally had very little defenses, those decks would all, you know, that's where the variance was what they would have different defensive and different offensive ones. I don't think we need to use anything. Oh, hang on, let's see. 27, 11, 12. We'll either Ghost in the Jar or we'll get some offense. We'll get some offense. So how those decks deal damage, or how they mitigate damage, players just knew based on the current meta at the time what decks had what cards in them. And I think it's why archetypes really don't work in Slay the Spire, because it doesn't... That's what I'm saying. If someone told me they had a poison deck, I'm like, well, okay, well... So you're dealing poison as damage, but... How Blizzard kills cheap, skillful, innovative deck in favor of selling legendaries of forced archetypes. I don't know about that, but... Patch's Pirate. That was a little bit bonkers. But yeah, in Slay the Spire, you... What were we saying? Yeah, so with poison, there's a whole bunch of different ways to get poison to work. But that also, like, I've got no idea what you're doing for defenses. With charge. So it wasn't that he played for free, it's that he got to act on that turn. Which is really strong which it ended up being really strong in a lot of decks, but there were a few different actual synergies that then made it stronger. So something like the deck thinning really didn't matter. I think that was a word that got thrown around far too much in Hearthstone. It didn't matter. You have cards that will increase the attack value of your minions this turn. So all of a sudden you get a... let's say you get 2 attack for every minion this turn. Well, you get to... He gets played for free, so you don't have to... You don't even draw him. He gets played for free for you. And he's got charge. And if you have a... You know, +2 damage... Or you've got just something that always increases the value of minions, like the Stormwind Champion gave +1/+1 to every minion on the board. You know, so yeah, Reynad, deck thinning is not a thing. Deck thinning was not a thing. It was some term someone came up with that stuck somehow, and it doesn't mean anything because you're still only drawing 1 card a turn. You know. I mean, technically, yeah, it thins your deck, but what does that achieve? It doesn't achieve anything, right? Or you get to the crappy, you get your crappy cards out, you get to the good cards sooner. Don't put crappy cards in your deck, just put good cards in. You'll get to them sooner as well. But yeah, the biggest value was that you didn't have to draw it, so it got played for free. There was no card draw penalty. It did stuff on the turn that it played, and because the interactions with other cards, like, you know, health gain or damage gain, anything like that, you know, if enemies with a bubble on them, it could break that, like the cheapest cost to break a bubble, like. You know, minions that did stuff when other minions died. Well, now that minion dies.
Everyone, get in here! Fire on!
Scott Onesie Wilson coming in hot with the raid team. Welcome everybody. Rare Y? Panz instead? Yeah, so deck thinning in Magic, I heard that as part of the Hearthstone argument, and that actually does something. Yeah, Sozu seems fine. But that's another example where, like, a term sort of came across from another game where it meant something into a game where it didn't. Because people, like, it's easier for us as people to understand, where for someone to say, oh, it's like this, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, yep, I get that. It's like when a lot of MMORPGs were coming out, people would be like, oh, it's like WoW. It's like World of Warcraft. We'd be like, oh, okay, you understand that. You know, and people would have this thing, why is everything being compared to World of Warcraft? Well, it's because of what we know, you know. Patches was Blizzard's toxic version of deck thinning. Yeah, no. But yeah, Patches was... Effects matter. How's FTL, Scott? Is the streak alive? Is the streak alive? Did you do any new fandangled shenanigans? I couldn't calm my thoughts yesterday of the idea of reconstructive teleporter over medbay. I just think that's... that was the Hemet Nessingwari card, wasn't it? The thing is, though, like, that's a deck thinning, but that is dangerous, because if you do that, you're now gonna, you know, depending on your deck, you could be putting yourself in a bad position. But that was the idea, was that you were at the point of the game where you don't want to draw your crappy cards, but you do run the risk of decking yourself and you start taking fatigue. Fire suppression, pre-igniter. Fire suppression is greater than pre-igniter? Is that what we were saying? For what reason did you take fire suppression? Man, I don't even like getting it for free off that stupid event where you got to send your rock in to put out the fires. Because I'm a bit dubious that they have a faulty fire suppression unit, so you send your rock in and they give it to you. It's like, do I really want to take this? How do I know this didn't cause your fire? Man, just be 4 Zoltans. What the heck? Yeah. Did you do Zoltan suicide bombing? We want to finish here, except that unless there's a chance of Nob. I really don't want to fight Nob there. So we want this one to be Gremlin Nob. Yes, that is deck thinning. Okay? Because you're potentially, you know, you're not taking one card out of 30, you know, that's not going to have... It kind of not. Deck thinning usually is involved in cards where you're in a game where you're going to shuffle and reprocess the cards again. So, like, using a True Grit on Ironclad is deck thinning because it has like a greater value, right? Patches is just pulling one card out of the 25 remaining cards. So, from a technical point of view, it is deck thinning. But from a gameplay point of view, it doesn't achieve enough. It's one card. You know, and you can only have one copy of it. And there was only, you know what I mean? Whereas putting 15 1 and 2 cost cards in your deck so you can guarantee an aggressive start, and then late in the game, like on turn 5 or 6, playing a card that will destroy the remaining 1 and 2 cost cards so that you don't... Because you're only drawing one card a turn in Hearthstone unless you play a card that draws a card. Or is it 3? I can't even remember. It's 1, right? Anyway, yeah, it's 1. So now you're destroying those, so you're drawing bigger costed cards. So that is a relevant deck thinning thing. Druid. I've got a lot of energy here. Let's do that. I stopped playing at the very end of 2017. I didn't play any last year. For reasons. So I don't know what the recruit mechanic hadn't come in yet. Should have drawn first. Should have drawn first, Panz. Oh, I could see that was going to happen. Rip 4 health. What does it do? What does Call to Arms do? Yeah, so the secret... what's he be called? That guy... That minion that plays all the secrets, that's a form of deck thinning. Mysterious Challenger. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, I like the original. It wasn't very refined, but I thought I had a lot of enjoyment with one of the early Secret Paladins. That is 13 damage, and I need to find 13 damage. There you go. Wrecked idiots. Really? It's tempting. We've got decent health and good block cards. I'm not going to do it. I think reasons that I would do that at this case would be if I had a toxic egg or if my current health was much lower. Or if my ability to block was very low. We block very well at the moment. I always found it amusing because I played competitive games to win. You know, to be competitive. It's kind of implied. I can't, hang on, have I got it available? No, I can't pick it up. There was an article written on playing to win, which I think was actually called Play to Win, and it largely revolved around Street Fighter strategies. I don't want to draw any of those. Where the author had talked about if you're playing a competitive card game and you're playing for fun and you don't like toxic players who play winning decks because they want to win, well, what's your right to complain about it? Because it's a competitive game, right? Their version of fun might be to win the game. So I always liked it when a new strong deck design would come out, and then it would be so prevalent on the ladder over the following weeks while it was getting sort of redefined and really, you know, finely tuned, about everyone whinging about this stupid deck. Meanwhile, anyone else was either working out, like people were either working out how to make it stronger or how to come up with counters to it. Yeah, you can complain about games imbalance, but the thing is, with a two-player game, there is no imbalance because the other person can also be doing the same thing you are, which is perfectly balanced. Right? Until you faced Face Hunter, but you could play Face Hunter, or you could play any slow warrior, and as soon as you put that taunt down, what are they going to do? I mean, provided you can get one down soon enough. You know, they keep hitting their hero power, you just keep hitting yours. And then you know. Yep. So, but just because someone says, I don't want to play a net deck, or I don't want to play a strong deck, I want to make my own deck, but it's really bad because I'm not actually good at the game, and I've made this deck that I think's fun, but it loses to all these overpowered decks, well, you don't have a right to complain about their deck being strong. You know, you show up to a gunfight with a knife type of deal, and you whinge that they brought a gun. It's like, well, you know, you knew what was happening when you signed up. Grim Patron Warrior was great. It was strong, but the problem is that, you know, at a high level, it required a lot of thinking to make sure you didn't lose to other really strong players. The biggest issue was, down in the pleb ranks, some idiot could win against some other idiot with a Grim Patron because the games went too long and the Grim Patron got too strong. Which is pretty much what happened with... Man, I love having 5 energy. With any really strong competitively, you know... I've never noticed that this thing is got some sort of transparency. That's like, I just don't pay attention to graphics in games. It happens in Hearthstone more, but it happens in most. If there was a knife fight, I could bring your knife too. You wouldn't fuck around with a gunfight. Well, people do though. Work it out. They nerfed Grim Patron because casters couldn't find the lethals. That's right. No, because the plebs complained too much, right? Because as soon as any of the better players put up that's a really skillful deck, you know, all the rank 25 players would be like, no, there's no skill, you just do this and do that and you win. It's like, that's not what happens. Let's plop you in a game up at high level and you do that and see how many games you win. And they didn't. But they'd be like, that's what I do when I'm playing at rank 20 and it gets me a win. It's like, yeah, but because you're playing up against a rank 20 player. It was a really beautiful deck to pilot, and I'm not embarrassed to say I was not good at playing it, but I enjoyed the process. I liked looking through the turns, because you had to really dig sometimes to find the lethal. Especially under the time restraints. You know, because sometimes there were lethal theirs on the turns, and I would look back over games later when I could pause a VOD, and I would sit there and I would find lethals on like 2 turns before I got killed. And I'd look at it and go, I could have won that if I had been able to like see the combo better. Yeah, and if you did find it, man, you felt so good. Do we die next turn, or is he doing his big hit next? I think he's doing his big hit next turn. I haven't been paying attention to the turns. But there's a ladder though, right? So, you know, people that win, and that was the argument that sort of, it doesn't make sense that people didn't get this. If the deck is so strong, then the people that do have the time to get those decks, they'll just climb the ladder and you won't have to play against them anymore. Except it doesn't work like that. Like, you know. Hey, Pitchove, congratulations. Or condolences, either way, depending which way you want to look at it. But I'm guessing you're happy about it, so congratulations. Life coach roped every turn, yeah. So people that don't have... yes, it does. You know? Because that's how life works. Some people that are really good cyclists... I'm going to go with cyclists because it was the first thing that came to mind. They might try, but they don't have the ability to get like track time for training. They don't have the best. They don't have the money to put in for the really good bikes and the really good gear and all the really good stuff. So they probably won't make it to be competitive against the people that do have that. The people that can afford the supplements and the coaching and all the things that the top tier players play. But they will have a chance to do well at their local, track day against everyone else, where the playing field's a bit more fair. But occasionally, someone who's not very good and doesn't put in the effort, but is loaded with cash, will show up with, you know, a really swish bike and and the super fly helmet thingy and the lycra tryhard spandex pants and suit and things, and would have had the perfect protein and food management that week, and will have an advantage because they had the money. That's what happens in life, right? Yeah, or someone will be Lance Armstrong and just like drug it up and win. You know, and not because they really were any better, but they had either a financial or a time benefit over you. Yeah. Yeah, or they'll cheat, use an electric bike. Why not? 30... Do I only use a potion for 14 health? No. Probably should. Yeah, they're using wall hack, that guy too, so you got no chance. Backflip. It's 4 AM. Should you eat chili, or am I going to regret? Well, you're going to regret it anyway. Just eat the chili, Scott. Yeah, so dieting and routine do exorbitant, but some people live hectic enough lives where they just don't get to, you know, get the perfect sports diet. They might have to, you know, just because of work-life balance, family, kids, whatever, they might have to eat meals that are quicker to put together and don't quite have the right ratio of carbs and things. So, and it's not because they're not dedicated, but life, right? Life happens. But proper diet is resource intensive, true. Like it consumes time and it's expensive. But you can still live healthy on a on a decent budget diet. Yeah, also if you're social, that's true as well. But if that comes down to dedication. If you want to be social, then you've got to balance. Do you really, like if you say, I want to be as competitive as possible, and someone says, well, cut down some of your social, are you going to still be saying, I want to be as competitive as possible? Or are you going to be saying, yeah, I don't want to be that competitive? Okay, if I draw first, I could just not draw. The thing is, though, a lot of that is true. T2Veal is that some players will have a tier 1 deck because they just always have the cards, whether it's because they play a lot or because they have a bunch of money. And they might not be good players. And you might be a decent player, but you just don't invest the time or the money because you either don't have it or don't want to spend it. Both are valid reasons. And there's very little you can do. But if that's the case, you're probably going to have a lot of trouble against a lot of players, not just card games in general. Not just, you know what I mean? Like if you're in a situation where you just have very few cards and very little time to either by choice or by any other reason to give, you're going to struggle against a lot of players, not just the players that are playing with S tier decks. But if you're a good player and you've got a decent card set, you'll be able to beat a player that's like some failure that's just bought an S tier deck that doesn't know how to pilot and is just purely relying on the strength of the deck. If you realize that they've got this deck, instead of just playing your standard, well, this is my cards and I'm just going to play them out as if I don't have an opponent, if you change your strategy, you should be able to beat them before their deck gets strong enough. Like my kids were playing Hearthstone when I was playing, and they're little. They would play on ladder every now and then, but a lot of the times they just did the single player stuff because it's a free to play game, right? So they like the single player stuff. But occasionally they wanted to get cards, so they would play on ladder, and they'd come to me because they had a quest. They want to get the quest done because they liked opening packs of cards. It's fun. It's a Skinner box thing, right? And they'd be playing at rank 20 something because you know they didn't play all that often, and they were young kids, and they would come to me and say, oh, I've got a quest. So I'd go sit on I'd go out to their computer and I'd sit down, and there'd be some guy or girl player with an S tier deck, budget version or the full version, and I'd have to either concede, which is fine, but occasionally I'd be like, you know what, I'll just have a go, and I'd just change a strategy and just go for it. And a lot of times you'd win because they might have this deck, but they've got no idea what they're doing. They're just relying on the fact that their opponent also, and they're not doing this on purpose, they don't realize this is what's happening, but both players don't really know what's happening until too many turns have passed and the stronger deck is now stronger. But if you can just play the game quicker and put them in an uncomfortable position, they won't play their deck out properly. I always thought when people used to say about the Hearthstone pay to win, and before I started playing a lot, I played a very small amount at one stage, but I was careful with my card management. I didn't go craft all the legendaries straight away just because I wanted to have them. Seriously, this is the first run of like the entire night where we don't have the golden idol and we get Forgotten Altar. Feels bad, man. Like I have friends and family that play a lot. I've got a couple cousins that played a lot. I've got some friends at different workplaces and study places that would play a lot, and they were forever like disenchanting their cards and crafting new cards, and then disenchanting these cards and crafting these cards, except they wanted to have the legendaries that they were never going to play, so they would craft those as well. And it's like, that's all well and good if you've got a lot of resources, but now you're whinging that you're losing to these decks, and I'll be like, oh, I'll craft this deck and you'll stomp them. Oh, I don't have the dust. It's like, well, you know, why did you make this legendary that you will never use because it's crap? Oh, but it looks so cool. It's like, well, okay, then don't complain that you don't have the resources, you know. Yeah, and a lot of times you could just craft an aggro deck, and play that for a little bit just to beat out some frustration against some of the, you know, some of the combo decks. Do we become cursed? I don't really want to lose hit points again. I think we just have to take a curse. The other thing too is a lot of people like not settling. I get that, like, someone explained it to me once, and I already sort of felt like this, but I didn't really know how to put it. He said, imagine if you wanted to go play Mortal Kombat, you know, which is relevant because Mortal Kombat 11's just come out, right? Yeah, I spent $2 on Hearthstone, and that was in beta, because in beta, if you use the purchase system to help them test it, you got a free gold Gelbin Mechatorp. And I'm like, oh, I want a free gold Gelbin Mechatorp. What's it going to cost me? What's the cheapest thing I can buy? I can buy one pack for $2. I bought the pack for $2. I got my Gelbin Mechatorp. The card was crap. I was disappointed, but you know what? Hey, mistakes were made. It cost me $2. I'll get over it. I never spent a single cent on Hearthstone other than gifting prizes to people and presents. And I never had a want for cards. You know, play arena, make gold, get a pack of cards, do the dailies, you know, play a little bit here and there, not too much. Ooh, well-laid plan seems amazing. Spooky Ghost seems amazing too. Removing a curse seems pretty good. I think we can win this fight. It's not book. It's Bubby Slavers. Wow, do we Spooky Ghost this turn? Ooh, maybe not. $11, so 21. Maybe not. Yeah, so here's the thing though, right? And maybe this is just a bit of meta knowledge. When you realize that there's going to be a patch every X amount of months, a thought can pop into your head that be like, there's going to be new cards. I should save my gold for the new cards. I should save my dust for the new cards. I haven't upgraded this, so we're only going to get 3 turns. He takes 3. If I block this turn, and then next turn I can play 13 poison, it'll be 15, and then a bit more. I think we can block. I can only keep 2 cards. I should have played the Deadly Poison Panz. That's a misplay. I blame chat. That's fair, right? It's a fair assessment to blame chat there. I don't have enough time and money. I'm out. Yep. Why would you do that? Why would you be like that? That sounds really mean. I think it would be more beneficial for you guys if you like were Team Panz. No, I was right. It's all chat's fault. Thank you, chat. Oh, the second corpse explosion. Distracted with your looks. That hot 10-point Arial font. In before someone's like, that's not Arial. You should know your fonts, Panz. Why? I don't give a crap. They're words. What is it anyway? What font is that in Twitch chat? 8-point something. I don't know. I don't think we take a second corpse explosion. I feel that's not quite good. Calibri for life? Pfft. Pfft. Whatever, Panz. Hey, Champy baby. Champy baby. Do, 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 do. They're not attacking with strike and dagger throw because we're trying to get the poison up higher. Which we can't do by like we need to do as little damage as possible normally. I can also keep 2 cards. I'm going to hit into there to try and draw a different card. Interesting. Nice work, nice work, RNG. Okay, Champ Poison's fine. Although a Catalyst right now would be nice. He's splitting next turn, so we're dealing damage now. Dealing actual damage now and holding onto those. Says dig, relic, dig. Okay, 138's gonna be tight. It's gonna be real tight. So weakened, he goes down to what, like 24 or something? Oh, I've got Crane, that's huge. The longer you can hold off your Wraith form turn, the better. The point that sometimes you don't even need it. Daggers throw the clear champion. Can it read wingdings? Yeah, there's only one reason, only one way to find out. Yeah, Art of War is really doing some. I need to pay more attention to it. I'm going to take a malaise. As much as I want to take a burst. Malaise. And I don't have a catalyst. Random number god, thank you so much for the 500 biddies. I guess it can't. Let me try again, just in case.
You're unbelievable.
It didn't even display the message. I feel ripped off. But thank you for the 500 biddies. Welcome to the number 2 spot on the list. It's not a whiff, that was science. One of the questions is here, do we need extra energy? I'm not taking the kite. I don't think we need a kite. How many times do you think we played 6 cards? Like on it, like how many, seriously, how many times do we play 6 cards? How many times could we play 6 cards if we only had 4 energy? Yeah, I'm the same, T. DeVille. Well, I know I have Art of War, but how many times did I play 6 cards in that last fight? With the leg sweeps in here, it chews up the energy. It's great. Corpse Explosion chews up energy. Malaise will chew up energy. I think this is a really good choker. Wraith form on a turn where you want to do stuff as well. Picking it as your second energy relic, that's where you need to think about it. Like, if you're getting choked, like, even if you're almost getting choked, like, let's say you're playing 5 cards with Sozu, right, because you got Art of War and Lantern, and let's say we get Ship or something. You know, because remember, Lizard Tail only works once. Sometimes that's all you need, but sometimes you don't even need that, right? But if the only reason you're getting choked is because you took Choker, that's kind of worth it, because if you didn't take it, you wouldn't have been able to play the extra card because you didn't have the extra energy. But if you're getting choked without it, it's probably just going to be worse. We might happen. We might actually see this happening. I do have an energy, but I could have played it technically, but I didn't need to. Although, if I hadn't taken it, we wouldn't have had an extra energy left over. Oh, oh, the extra energy. So good. Yeah. Five. Hey Adam Sims, how you doing today? I can play a Wraith form. And no, that's the wrong card. I wanted to play a leg sweep. Dang it! Panz, what happened? My mouse slipped. I want to play a leg sweep. Play some Gems of War. Calculated gamble on turn 1. That was choked, but it's good. Okay. Abandon run. Start again. Oh, fall event. So good. Nope. Nope. Gems of War is a clone of Puzzle Quest from the makers of Puzzle Quest, which I think is hilarious. They made their own clone. Well, everyone else on the planet was, so why shouldn't they? $10, $22, $28. Where's my corpse explosion? Ooh, uh-oh. Okay. No, we're fine. Okay, I just don't want to attack. Okay, we're good, we're good. Oh, I should have played that. I want all my energy for next turn. Uh-oh. No, I can dagger throw something else. We're okay, people. We're okay. Don't worry. Nothing to see here. Deflect Plus probably doesn't work in this deck. Maybe. You could probably squeeze one in. Yeah. Oh, I could have healed. Yeah, I was worried that I was going to do too much damage to that thing, though. But turns out I was going to anyway. Definitely should have played. We'll get it back. I was actually honestly scared I was going to miss the corpse explosion and have to legitimately kill the other ones. Wow, this this sucks. Oh, Wraith form should have been priority there. Save that. I'm not asking for much. I just want a Catalyst Plus. Do I need to care about Art of War? Maybe. So about that Wraith form. I didn't upgrade the Wraith form, Panz. I really should upgrade the Wraith form. I've only got 3 ticks of poison now. I don't think 12 damage is doing it. Was a turn too soon, but at least I kept some big blocks, I suppose. High health. It's fine. Hey Dolphin! Can't stay leaving Bernie in your hands. Bye bye, Dolphin. Hey Bernie! It's okay. Dolphin will be back soon. You stay here. Panz will keep you company. I'll let you bark as long as you don't tell Dolphin that I'll let you bark, okay? Be our little secret. Everyone be kind to Bernie. He loves cake batter and belly rubs. Not necessarily in that order, but very important. Do not cook the cake. And he's trying to get his decapitated stuffed animal to drink. If he looks sad at you when he does that, just let him know that, you know, Mr. Nobody is doing okay. It'll be fine. Do you want to up a Caltrops here? Whetstone. Whetstone could hit a neutralize. Probably still wouldn't play it. Can I get the different key instead of this? Let's go ahead and get backflip Wraith form. Spike looks cool when you wear them. Don't disagree with that. Hey Pillow, I might need you after Reptomancer fight here. Oh, it's baby Nemesis. don't mind playing those earlier because I want to get through to, well, definitely that one. I want well-laid plans. That's a thing as well. I hit neutralize, didn't I? Dang it, why'd you hit with neutralize, Panz? Lin or pizza? Pizza! Why would you do anything else? Answer is pizza. That's other run Panz's problem to deal with. Other run Panz will just have to deal with that. I know Blin are delicious pancakes, but it's up against pizza. It's kind of a no-brainer here. A little concerned about the next turn. Let's keep Art of War on. Oh, both. Alright. I like where head is at there. There's Spoopy Ghost coming up. Doesn't matter what we do. Ow, that tickles. Pizza slice. Yeah, I've got to also remember just to Wraith form at the end of fights for heals. Huh. 98% said they like pizza. Good to know. Stone calendar, run is save, backflip plus. It's not a catalyst. Hashtag not a catalyst. Oh hey, transient. I heard you like pizza. He's weakened for the whole fight. But we've already seen our Wraith form. Poison's really good against this jerk. I would like to see more poison good. I like to think that they do like pizza. They don't realize that what they're eating is pizza. So it's like an accidental, oh, this is pizza? Yeah, we like this type of situation. Oh, we got choked? Perfect block. Choke to save me from overblocking. I don't see the Catalyst Plus. Where's he hiding it? Maybe we don't want to know. We don't want to know where Transient's hiding it. Oh, we had to actually kill him? That doesn't seem fair, chat. Who's boss? Ah, workbloke, that's fine. We don't play that many powers. I'm actually more worried about the burbs. And we got the poison way higher on this fight. Yeah, where was my burst? If only we got a burst on that malaise. Wraith form's got 4 turns on it this time. Or 4 ticks of poison will give us. Huh. We're going to take advantage of them right now. We've done that better though. Okay, so we might get choked a little bit now. Panz and puzzle quest. Oh, taking 1 damage, not acceptable. Could matter. I just don't want to get a. I just don't want to get a parasite. Just don't give me a parasite, you bitch. I didn't get to heal. Calendar? Yeah, I've got bird face down. Anything else? So it gives me 2 heal every time I play a power. Okay. Buzz. What's happening? So I need to decide if I want to take this, which is possibly going to be the only damage, hopefully. With Wraith form. Chuck in so many. This would be so much better on an Act 4, but we've got to get there. We're currently looking at 24, 35, 46. It's like 20 damage. It's too much damage this turn. And even neutralize. Plus it lets us kill the birds off. I think I can do it without playing Fumes, which would be great. Yeah, I agree. Corpse Explosion makes a pretty good explosion. Oh, I'm well over the limit now. Calendar did a thud. I can't stream games with that much movement in them, Carino, at the moment. If something happened with the internet really soon, I'd be more than happy to take it out for a while with you guys. But until then, we just have to stick with the slower paced games for now. How much week is enough week? About 30. Oh, sorry for the cough too. I didn't get the mute button. I think that was wrong. Hey, Slothy Delicious. Needs to be at least 99. Well, that's reasonable, I suppose. I mean, I can understand that. It's a number we can all get behind. Something happened to your strength. I don't want to draw the melees yet. I want to get dodge and roll played, not played on a void turn. Oh, I could have played Corpse Explosion for free. Yeah, poor strength. Where's my dodge and roll? Panz, no bully. There's been a huge improvement on like paw extensions for the eager typist, because it's so easy to fat paw the wrong key. Oh, we heal. Put some fast food and cash down. Bernie tried to eat one of them. Let me think about this. I kind of want to. I kind of want to, just for comedy's sake, go with the cash. But I'm pretty sure he went for the food. Hey, that's a good dodge and roll. 6 energy melees. Hung. I don't think I'm going to be needing that anytime soon. Slow down. Yeah, but digested money can't be used to buy much food. So unless he went and hid it in his stuffed animal head near his water bowl, I'm going back to dum-dums. Love you, Bernie. Must be that New York lifestyle still carried over to Colorado where, like, no one cooks. What's the highest count I've got in Stone Calendar? I don't know. I'm not planning on finding out either. Dolphin, did you see what I did yesterday? Did you see what I did? And I still wasn't good enough to beat Jorbs, but I almost did. Except I did mine with no poison, and no apparitions, and no wraith form, and no footwork. I did it with an honest deck. I beat the heart. I legitimately took a, I'm gonna keep the Wraith form now just to heal. A concentrate in Act 1, deliberately. Shivs aren't exactly honest. Well, I mean, they are in Spireland. I don't think I need all the... Oh, wait, let's play this... Oh, play that next turn. So I can get my heal. New meta shitty cards all the time. That's right. There's a new meta in town. And it's poopy. Oh, BB Tech, that's fantastic. Hey, shape fools. Have a corpse explosion. Turns out I didn't need to use that ghost in a jar potion. Wasted ghost in a jar potion. That was the only turn we were going to take any damage. Feels bad, man. Feels, where's my potion, man? I could have used my potion on this turn. This turn looks like I might have needed it a bit better. Hey, Mr. Aquafin. Yeah, see, now that's the proper way to say archetype. The shitty cards archetype. Pardon my language for anyone who's moving more family-friendly stream. Not a ghost in the jar. I want my ghost in a jar. Dag nabbit. Let's get rid of this because I don't think we need it anymore. Nice. Right, this does more, and we've got our thing down. Go on to Act 4. Panz dance? Never! Maybe sometimes. I like to move. Healing. Octodad dance. Rumors are you all want some Octodad. Octodad's gonna need some bread. Pony up. $2,068. Decent. Baby Tech, thank you so much for the clip. Panz dance. Do the old white guy shuffle. Posterity. So I clipped up all the, I highlighted up and exported all the Baba Is You to the YouTube's land. And headed over that way. I've just got to get a nice description with links and appropriate words. And then I'll make them public. And then, yeah. I'm actually going to upgrade the backflip over the Crippling Cloud. Yeah, I like the upgraded backflip. Pellets seem nice. I have a Wraith form. Pellets and a steroid and a speed potion. I can't afford both. I can't buy a speed potion anyway. Okay. Did the run just started? Yeah, Arangu, we're just in Act 4. Okay. Pellets for early Wraith form in this fight is really nice. We just need to draw an early Wraith Well, okay then. And we got choked. I'm okay with this. Should be going for the other guy? I don't know. Pellets removes buffs and debuffs and stuff. Debuffs. Probably should be going for this guy, but that's okay. Already got poison on this guy, he'll catch up. Nice work, idiot. Shut up. Thank you. What may be a bit too early. I'm facing the wrong way. I'm facing the right way. He's dead next turn. It definitely kills, right? Oh, Dolphin and this PepUD. Okay, there you go, Dolphin. That was for you. I don't have an attack to remove my vulnerable. Me subs deads game. No, don't tell them to get out of here. I need all the Dolphin Chemist subs. If it wasn't for the Dolphin Chemist subs hanging out here, I'd be under a streetlight right now with a really rude sign that I wouldn't be able to read. Because safe for work channel. Yeah, okay, stay. Just make sure to give me more money than Dolphin. More money than you give to... I think you understand what I'm trying to say. I was watching Name Redacted stream the other day, and the heart fight started. And because of this beautiful gentleman with the silver P plate and the purple tick, I'm sitting here in my living room with my family watching me, going, hey, Baby Tag, thank you for the 5 slices of pizza. Helps feed the streamer.
Eat it, Dolphin.
No, I'm gonna eat it. It's my pizza. You gave it to me. Okay, I kind of want a power potion, but I'm kind of not going to. Scary turn.
Here's some money to help keep the streetlight company.
Demonstrate
Less than
86.
3.
Thank you for the 500 biddies of love for the street line. Less than 3D too, buddy. It works, Dolphin! Our plan worked. I'll be in your stream to tell everyone. I bet they won't give you $5 later. Hey, we fooled them, buddy. Oh, no. I mean... buckets. I think I could just block for 30. Yeah. And because we're paying each other in bits, we're actually making money instead of having to give PayPal, their cut. Yeah, collusion. I was going to ask what turn it is, but I know what turn it is. This stone thing's great. I probably want to play this now. No, heart's already weak. Okay. I just have to not play like me. Oh, one of the reasons why I did well yesterday with the deck, I was interacting with chat and playing and just doing stuff, and next thing you know, I won the run. I wasn't actually using my brain to think about the turns. I was just playing the cards. Actual proof that my brain has been slowing me down. This poison seems to be taking its sweet time. Thank you, calendar. No, I like to think I had some made some meaningful decisions yesterday. It sounds a lot better. You know, the deck was really hard to play. Was really good at it. Sounds a lot better. Oh, I want to do maths. Is this the turn that it's going to buff to, like, way too much? I wonder if I should have saved the Malaise tool. I don't think I could have saved the Malaise tool here. You. That's really bad. Okay. intangible pot. Yeah, in all fairness, I probably would have used it against Dono and Decker though. We're in the 3 range, where things hurt a lot more now. Wow, where were you guys? I don't know if I got enough damage in the deck. This one, 2 hits, a freebie, and another one. 5 ticks of poison. 250. Uh, 45 of tangible damage. Okay. 48. 300. Plus the deadly poison. 35, 35, 345. Plus more. We're gonna be. It's gonna be very, very close. Very, very close. It's gonna be a lot less close now. Man, I've got to enable Pepe D. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. 69 poison, by the way. Oh no! But owie! Feels good, man. Feels good. See, the Pepe D I can do. If I really wanted me to embarrass myself, I'd get up and try a floss. But I don't think you guys could raise nearly enough biddies for that to happen. Who needs a ghost pot anyway? That's right.